On this episode of Fail-Proof Kitchen.
Fail-Proof Kitchen, motherfucker! Hey y'all, I'm Jester.
And I'm Chef Robbie Jester.
And this is Fail-Proof Kitchen.
Today we're gonna make some delicious competition-style oven-roasted barbecue ribs. You can be a little more aggressive with that.
Bad girl.
It's feeding time.
On a more serious note, today we're gonna make some delicious competition-style oven-roasted barbecue ribs.
What makes it competition style?
So competition style means we're paying a little bit more attention to it. We're just not throwing them on the smoker and letting them go. We want ribs that still have a little bit of bite to them. They're not fall off the bone, but still delicious and tender and just a little more complicated than every other rib that we would do. Better.
Fucking lot of
better.
Just better.
Just fucking better. All right. So we're starting with some baby back ribs. We're using baby back ribs instead of, you know, full ribs or St. Louis style ribs because they're a little bit smaller. They're gonna cook faster, and we're fucking hungry, so we're gonna do it faster. So I'm gonna let you come over here. We're gonna make our barbecue rub.
Perfect.
So
you make your own rub. This is something I've wanted to learn because I always use the salty steer seasoning. So you just know this you are.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is all the stuff that you're gonna find in all those rubs. And the only real difference in the rubs is like the amount of each thing.
Yeah.
So
You
first,
just eyeball it?
yep, we're gonna eyeball it.
Great. Okay.
So we're gonna start out with some brown sugar. So we're gonna measure with our hearts, as Jenna would say.
Okay. But you want a lot of brown sugar with ribs, right?
Yeah. So you're gonna want.
Measure with our hearts, yeah. Well, you know where my heart is located. I'm going hard.
There you go. That's good right there. Yep. And we're gonna want to match that with the salt. So you want the same amount of salt and sugar. At least I do anyway. So we have light brown sugar there, and we have a coarse kosher sea salt here.
Did you mean for me to pour this whole thing?
That's great. Not all of it. Yep. Then we're gonna start out with our seasoning. So basically, every single barbecue rub is gonna have sugar. It's gonna have salt. It's gonna have pepper. So we'll do black pepper.
Black pepper.
You can be a little more aggressive with that. Then you're gonna have onion powder or granulated onion. So that says onion powder, but you wanna watch it when you buy it at the grocery store because a lot of times it says onion powder. Like this is garlic powder. You can see that it's much finer. So this is actually granulated onion. That's what I prefer for barbecue rubs.
Okay, how much are we going with this?
Probably 17 and a half shakes. You counting that? That's good.
I actually did kind of count like I was like, that's probably fucking 9. Yeah. Okay, so good on onion.
So
okay.
we're gonna do the garlic.
Okay, how many shakes?
About the same amount. So you do the same amount of garlic and onion, at least I do. Some people like a little bit more garlic, but I find like if you do too much garlic, it ends up tasting kind of burnt by the time it's done.
Yeah.
You got smoked paprika, about half as much of the smoked paprika. And the paprika is there for a little bit of smoky flavor. Like we're not smoking these ribs, we're just gonna roast them.
Where does paprika come from? What is it?
You know what, that is a good fucking question.
Yeah.
And that is a question that chef should know, but I don't. Chef doesn't know everything, kids. Yeah, that's good. We can always add a little bit more later. So then we're gonna go in with, for my barbecue rub, we're gonna go in with a little bit of cumin. So that's gonna give it kind of like a Tex-Mex, kind of like a Mexican sort of flavor to it. So let me show you.
Yeah, what's the trick here? Oh!
Ta-da! And you're gonna do 4 of those with the cayenne pepper. We like a little bit of heat.
So 4 means 4 slaps?
Yep, 4 slaps. Oh, easy. You're stronger than I am. So we're gonna go ahead. We're just gonna mix that up. And actually I can see now that it's a little on the light color, so we wanna add some more paprika to it.
Dude, this is dope. This is, so you just know by color. Oh yeah, that's right. Bad girl.
Yeah, I know by color, and then, so I like it like that.
Okay.
We're gonna add some color to it later with some like barbecue sauce and things like that.
Dude, I'm totally gonna play with and make my own like meat seasoning blends now. Is that what you do? And like,
Oh yeah.
and you just test stuff out, right?
Yeah, and you can just put this in a jar and keep it, and like it'll keep forever in like your cabinet or whatever.
Cool.
So another good thing here, like if you're doing any sort of like darker meats, you're doing like beef or something like that, a little bit of cocoa powder, real good in there. Yep. All right, so it's got good flavor. So we're gonna we have our 3 racks here, and what I want you to do is you're gonna season with your hand over top.
Yeah, just nice and even.
Yep. And you want to season with a little bit of height because that's good. You're gonna be able to see it. And make sure you gotta get around the front here.
I'm going at my own pace. You know, with a little bit of height, yeah.
Yep. You wanna do all of the top and then flip them over and do all the bottom. Otherwise, you're going back and forth, you're like cross-contaminating your rub and stuff like that, and it's just not good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and flip them over for you. And you season it on the rack that you're cooking it on, because like seasoning costs money, you don't wanna waste it. So if anything extra falls onto the pan, and then you can kind of dab the edges here, get them all seasoned, and you're not wasting it all. It's not going down a drain, you're not throwing it away by wiping off whatever you're doing it with.
That is something I just like to do to get like the edges of steaks and stuff seasoned.
Yep, exactly. And we're gonna add some more of this rub later on in the cooking process,
okay.
which you'll see, and it'll be delicious. So it's gonna look like they're kind of like bunched in there, but they're gonna shrink. So you're fine to kind of like press them into the pan just a little bit. We did this before we started rolling, but we have aluminum foil down on the pan and then a little bit of non-stick spray on the pan, which is gonna help us with cleanup later. You know, we don't really wanna be like scrubbing these bad boys down. So we wanna make sure that we prepare our pan beforehand. So since you've got non-ribby hands, you wanna put it in the oven for me.
Why did we turn them this way? Why does it matter?
So we do them this way. This is the presentation side, but it's also the side that has the most meat. So you want this to go ahead and cook.
Yeah.
You flip them upside down, it's gonna take longer.
Yeah, but why did we turn them
We turn them sideways like this just because I want a little bit of space between each rack, and the other way they were like laying on top of each other.
Okay.
So this way we got space between, so the air can kind of like, you know, fluctuate in between each one.
Cool. Give me my space. Yeah, okay.
So we're gonna put it into a 425-degree oven. We're gonna cook it for about an hour and a half right now. So this is a good time to go get some other meal prep done. You know, maybe put another dip in, go for a run, whatever you want. And we'll come back to the ribs in a little bit. We're gonna glaze our ribs and then we'll finish them. Check us out in a little bit.
It's feeding time.
While Derek is eating his lunch because he is on his game right now, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap our ribs. So we pulled our ribs out, we got them cooked. You can see here where the bone is kind of sticking out there, where the meat is kind of pulled away from the bone. Like that's the point that we wanna pull this out and get it wrapped. So this, we're gonna build our glaze. So we have some of our rub we made earlier, and we're gonna just sprinkle that. And we have some sauce here, whatever your favorite barbecue sauce is. You can go down with a little ziggy zag. Brown sugar. Hot sauce.
That's interesting to me. I didn't know we were gonna use buffalo sauce for ribs.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna add just this little zip. It's gonna make it slam, and then we're gonna add some butter. We've taken this butter, we've sliced it up a little bit. We're just gonna add the pads, and basically I'm making like an outline of the ribs here. So you don't wanna have too much butter because then it separates when we do this next part, but you wanna have enough so all of it mixed together makes a sauce. Like, you know, if you make your own like buffalo sauce, you usually take like the hot sauce, the vinegar and stuff like that, and you fold in butter, like that's what makes it buffalo sauce. Like in this case, we're gonna do sort of the same thing, just a little bit different. I'm gonna add a little bit more brown sugar. We're gonna take our ribs, we'll flip them upside down, and then we're gonna wrap. Come up from the bottom, in from the sides, and then down here, so it makes a little packet, okay? And we're gonna go rib side down on the bottom of our tray right there. We've already got the liner on there. It's keeping us nice and clean, keeping the pan clean. We're just gonna do that again. So a little bit of our rub down.
So all the meat is cooked at this point. This is just like making them.
So the meat is cooked, but it's not tender.
Okay.
So it does need to go a little bit further in order to be what I would call like delicious. And like I've done this too, where you don't add any barbecue sauce. You just do like the brown sugar rub and the hot sauce, and it comes out delicious that way too. And you're gonna make these barbecue ribs in the oven like this. I would hold these up against anybody else's like smoked ribs. They're delicious. And if you wanted to really, really fake that smoked flavor, there's a product out there called liquid smoke. If you just put a little bit of the liquid smoke in either your hot sauce or your barbecue sauce, a little bit will do you, like a little droplet. That'll be enough to make it taste like it's smoked, so that you can kind of fake that smoking without having to fire up a smoker, light wood on fire, all that stuff.
And smoked ribs are obviously good, but this seems like it takes significantly less time. This isn't that hard. These are gonna turn out fucking good.
Yeah, so it isn't that hard, and You know, in full disclosure, you can do smoked ribs a lot faster than a lot of people do them. I don't know if it's like a fucking badge of honor for like saying, oh, I smoked the ribs for 5-6 hours.
Days.
But I had a barbecue restaurant, and we literally would cook the ribs in like 2.5-3 hours. Like on a hot day or a day where we were moving, like 2.5 hours, easy, be done. You cook them for like, smoke them for like an hour, wrap them, another hour and a half in the packet, and then on a slower day, you know, probably 3 hours.
Yeah, forget it. Like all that stuff melting into the meat, those are gonna be good, man.
So we're gonna go back in. I did lower our oven now to 400 degrees. So we're gonna go back in there for probably, judging by the size of the ribs and where we're at, another 35-40 minutes. They're gonna come out, we'll flip them out. They'll be beautifully glazed and delicious. All right, so we came out of the oven again. We have our little packets. You wanna be careful because they're gonna be super hot. So I have a tray here with our cutting board inside the tray. This is gonna have some juice. It's gonna have some of that melted butter. So you just wanna make sure that you protect your counter and everything from that. So we're gonna open these up, and you can see right there, we got that beautiful glaze on the bottom side there. And then what you're gonna wanna do is, you wanna flip.
Oh, and that's just to preserve the juice on the top of it? Is that,
Yeah.
Fuck it. Oh.
And then you could save this, but since we're going for food porn, we are gonna just do that. So you wanna hand me that knife over there?
Yeah.
Go ahead, and you can kind of feel like they're soft enough to get separated. A lot of people, so I like to cut them standing up, but if you're not comfortable with that, you just flip them over. You can see where the bones are. You just cut right through. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You can smell that hot sauce.
Oh, that's right. I'm getting in there. Hold on. Yeah, dude. Oh, interesting.
Just let me grab me that parsley real quick. You know, green chip makes it look good. You can't eat it, so I'm gonna eat it for you.
Yeah. Good? Not good? Put your hand in there,
Got
yeah.
a little bite of that, the acid in that hot sauce, but it's sweet. So good.
And do these have like a barbecue flavor to them? A little bit, even with the hot sauce. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, these are things that I'm learning today and never would have thought about, like a mix of buffalo sauce and barbecue sauce. But yeah, fuck.
And depending on your preference, you could do all hot sauce or all barbecue sauce. It just really depends on like what your flavor profile is. I like the mix of both, but you certainly could have one or the other.
Yeah.
That is our rib recipe. It's delicious. Please like, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for notifications.
Thanks for watching.
Next time on Fail Proof Kitchen, we are making the cavatelli pasta that I've made on both Netflix pressure cooker and Beat Bobby Flay. We're gonna use the well method, which I'm sure if you've watched any sort of food TV or anything like that, you've seen this method of mixing pasta done. Cut a piece off and roll it.
Wow, I have a feeling this is harder than it looks.
It is harder than it looks, but it's not impossible.
What's happening?
So you want me to show you the easier way?
Oh, Robbie, are you kidding? I can do that. Hang on. You're just showing out. I'm done. I'm retired. I'm taking off my apron.